The sun came up and went back down again whilst Charlotte was over the ocean. She was slowly coming to terms with what was happening, but the endless ocean was very boring to look at. It was around midday that her bowels started demanding to be released. This was a moment she had been dreading thanks to the cramped and enclosed space that she was stuck in. Charlotte waited another hour before she could hold on no longer. She laid flat on her back and raised her legs up in the air. Holding her breath, Charlotte pushed down and felt a solid log of excrement push into the waiting diaper. As soon as it was pushed out, it was followed by a couple of smaller lumps that were easier to pass. Charlotte banged her head on the mattress in frustration as she came to tears for what felt like the 100th time on this journey. This was hell, and she knew her destination would be no better for her. After a few minutes, Charlotte undid the tapes of the diaper and quickly cleaned herself up. She folded the used padding into a ball and tried to stuff in the corner, out of sight and out of mind. Looking at the other diapers without appetite, she smiled to herself as she decided on rebelling in a minor way and staying naked. Charlotte laid down to sleep and woke up to see sun going down and, in the distance, the sight of land. A sight that thrilled Charlotte as much as it scared her. Grabbing one of the bottles, Charlotte drained the whole thing in one go to quench her thirst. She followed that up by holding her nose and forcing down the baby food, something that at least filled her stomach. When Charlotte crossed over onto land again, it was very dark and she was sure there was no way anyone would be able to see her again. Another forlorn hope crushed by Stork Industries' preparation. After a few more hours, Charlotte felt her bladder aching for release and knew she wouldn't be able to hold it for much longer. The diapers that were sitting in the corner furthest away from her seemed more and more tempting as she fought for control. Eventually it became too much, and despite how bad she felt about voluntarily putting a diaper on, she knew that wetting the mattress would be a lot more uncomfortable. She opened up one of the diapers and awkwardly taped it on. It wasn't a moment too soon either, as only seconds after Charlotte had the diaper on she released her bladder and flooded it. A full bladder of urine caused the padding to swell up, and by the time she was done she felt soaking wet. As terrified and panicked as she felt, Charlotte was also very bored with nothing to do but contemplate her future. "Hello, Charlotte." Laura's voice suddenly came from the screen again, causing Charlotte to rush over and pick it up. Charlotte flipped the tablet over and looked at the screen. "Your journey is fast approaching its end. You will soon be with your new family and you will be starting your new journey as a baby." Laura smiled disarmingly as Charlotte felt the familiar feelings of panic rising again. Your new family do not speak English and they requested a baby that didn't speak German. They asked you to be in the dress provided when you arrived and you will be expected to put it on before landing. Laura continued. Charlotte looked at the frilly pink dress and shook her head as if Laura could her. There was no way she would put that on. She planned to get away from these Germans as soon as possible, and she certainly didn't plan on pleasing them. Soon the screen turned off and just a few moments later, Charlotte noticed the drone was descending. She looked down to see a small town in the darkness. This was it. Touchdown was in the backyard of a large house. The lights were on, and almost as soon as the drone touched down, Charlotte saw two people appear at the back door. They looked hopeful and expectant, for all the world like expectant parents about to meet their new baby. Charlotte pushed up against the bars furthest from the couple that were tentatively coming outside. She suddenly realized she was still naked and wished she had covered up with that dress. The drone disconnected from the crib, and just as quickly as it had landed, it lifted off and headed into the darkness, leaving Charlotte alone in the silence and darkness of this German couple's backyard. "Gruss." The German man walked towards the crib. "Listen. This is all a mistake." Charlotte replied quickly, "You have to let me out and take me to the American embassy." "Ruhig, Klein," the German man said with a laugh. Charlotte felt him lower the wheels of the cribs and start wheeling Charlotte towards the house. "Please. Let me out," Charlotte started crying despite herself. "Sie reeked," the German woman said as she held her nose when Charlotte passed into the house. "Du reinigst das." J.A., 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 the man repeated. He planted a kiss on the German woman as he walked by. Charlotte didn't understand anything that was happening and felt completely lost as she was wheeled through the house with the German man talking incessantly despite Charlotte having no idea what he was saying. The German man smiled at Charlotte like a new father and pushed open a door at the end of a hallway. The crib was wheeled in and Charlotte felt her heart sink. The room was the perfect nursery. Toys were everywhere, a changing table, a space for the crib that was filled when she was pushed over to it. It would be everything a little girl could dream of. "I'm Daddy," the German said in very broken English, "You baby." Charlotte started sobbing as the glass panels lowered and Daddy began unscrewing the ceiling of the crib. She knew these people wouldn't let her go. Unless she could escape herself, she was going to be these people's baby forever.